In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the installation of these Viking saddlebags onto this 2009 Honda Rebel 250. The saddlebags come in a kit that includes the hardware to mount the bags either directly to the motorcycle or to a strap that goes over the fender. The former method Viking refers to as a hard mount, the latter method a throwover. Whatever method you choose, the rear turn indicator lights will need to be moved to the rear of the motorcycle. The kit includes a turn indicator bracket that bolts to the license plate holder, but will need some modification to work. The two studs coming out of the base of the turn indicator are the mounting bolt and the wiring chase. Both studs are about 10 millimeters in diameter. The distance between them is about 5 millimeters or 3/16 of an inch, which is 0.188. Unfortunately, the orientation of the studs are opposite the holes in the bracket when the bracket tabs face the front of the motorcycle. It's important the bracket tabs face front so the bracket can obscure the wires from the rear. This means that the hole for the wiring chase needs to be increased from 8 millimeters to about 7/16 of an inch, and the space between the holes needs to be reduced to 3/16 or less. With a 7/16 drill bit and a round file, the process shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. Using the Allen head bolts supplied with the kit, install the bracket and make sure it's centered. You will want to bolt your license plate to the front of the bracket though. I use a stash box behind my license plate, which requires I mount the plate below the bracket so it clears the light when I open it. Behind the license plate is a junction box. Remove the 8 millimeter bolt and cover to expose the wires. Pull the booty down with the wiring cluster and remove the booty cover. Locate the orange and green wires in their own sleeve and pull apart the banana connections. Make sure not to damage the connections by pulling the wrong locations on the wires. If you pull on the correct locations on either side of the plug, it doesn't take much force. Now locate the blue and green wires in their own sleeve and pull them apart. The blue wire is the right signal, the orange wire is the left, and the green wires are the ground. Now carefully fish the wires through the back of the junction box. Also slide the wire out of the retaining clips on the underside of the fender. Remove the 10 millimeter mounting bolt and carefully feed the wires out of the fender, making sure not to damage the plugs. Because the mounting stud is not threaded all the way to the base, a bushing will be needed to take up the unthreaded portion of the stud. An inexpensive solution is to use two 3/8 inch nuts that will easily slide over the 11 millimeter bolt. You can paint them black to match. Spacers can be purchased from Lowe's when they have them in stock, but they cost $5 and will need to be shortened to fit. Plug the color-coded wires back into place. Gather the wires so the rubber booty can slide over the bundle, and then push the booty back into the junction box. This booty is very important to keep the wires from getting wet. No cutting or splicing will be required because there's enough space in the junction box to hold the excess wire once it's properly coiled. Make sure to bring the wires out of the junction box through the notches next to the license plate holder. Replace the cover and you're ready to install the saddlebags. It's appropriate to mount the bags in the throw-over method first, even if you decide to eventually hard mount them later, because the straps hold the bags in place while you mark the bolt hole locations on the back of the saddlebags, reducing the chance of a drilling error. Also, I found that aesthetically, even if you choose to hard mount the bags, the throw-over strap helps integrate the appearance of the bags and makes them look like they're a part of the motorcycle instead of looking disconnected. Whatever method you eventually choose, make sure to notice during assembly that the bolt tubes at the top of the uprights are longer than they are at the bottom. They are slightly offset and welded at a slight angle. When the assembly is properly bolted to the motorcycle, it angles away from the motorcycle at the bottom. Use the 3.5 or 4 inch metric bolts to attach the assembly to the motorcycle. Double check to make sure the assembly is mounted correctly and that it clears the motorcycle's components below. The strap comes in two pieces where the amount of overlap in the center determines how far the bags will hang on the motorcycle. This video clip shows two important facts. The mounting washer that is necessary if you hard mount the bags is up against the overlapping seam, which means the bags cannot be positioned any lower without jeopardizing the seam. Also notice that the back of the saddlebag is up against the mounting assembly with the throwover strap to the inside of the uprights. Choosing to use the throwover strap in a hard mount configuration will mean modifying the strap to fit between the uprights. On the Honda Rebel, the space between the upright mounting tubes is only 7 inches, but the straps are 7 3/8, which means 3/16 needs to be removed from each side of the strap, leaving a 1/16 inch of material next to the stitching. To accomplish this, you could use a variety of methods. I used a drum sander and a drill press, but you could use a belt sander, a disc sander, or if you're really handy with a razor blade knife, you could cut off the excess. But this is what it should look like when you're done. The right strap overlaps the left, so on the left strap, measure up 5 1/4 inches at the top and bottom and draw a line with a marking pen. Set the left strap to the line and connect the safety strap through the double D rings. You can tuck the excess between the straps. If you can, I strongly recommend sanding out a notch where the straps might damage the wiring behind the taillight. Mount the bags to the strap using the large plastic wing nuts. An alternative to strapping the bags to the crossbar is to use rare earth magnets that can be purchased on eBay. They will adequately secure the bottom of the saddlebags to the crossbar and make quick removal of the saddlebags a lot more efficient. Attach the magnets to the center of the crossbar and hang the bags. Replace the passenger seat, then with a felt tip pen, mark above and below the rare earth magnets onto the back of the saddlebags. Remove the bags and use one of the magnets to locate the center hole. Drill a 3/16 inch hole and use a 1032 by 1/2 inch flathead screw to secure the magnets to the bag. Use both a washer and lock washer under the nut. Attach the bags and you're ready to hard mount the bags. If you are ready to proceed with hard mounting your saddlebags, there's one last procedure I would recommend before making the drill holes. Put a level across the top of the bags. It's one orientation that is fairly ubiquitous. Now with a felt tip pen, mark around the mounting bolts onto the back of the bags. In addition, use the side of a hammer to pound the location of the mounting bolts to make an impression on the back of the bag. If the impression and the marks agree, you know it's safe to drill the bag. Remove the bags and drill 3/8 inch holes in the drill locations. Slide the upright mounting assembly over the bolts. Don't forget to slide large washers on first. Bolt the bags with the assembly onto the motorcycle and you're done. In this alternate mounting sequence, I will demonstrate a way to hard mount the saddlebags but retain the same quick functionality of the throwover strap. The trick is to bolt the mounting assembly to the motorcycle so that a portion of the bolt protrudes from the mounting tube in the same way the bolts protrude from the throwover strap. This allows you to slide the saddlebags over the bolts and attach the bags from the inside with large plastic wing nuts. To achieve this end, cut the head off a 5/16 by 4 inch bolt or all thread to turn it into a threaded stud. I used a chop saw with a metal cutting blade, but you could do the same with a hacksaw. Lightly beveling the rough edge and backing a nut off the end will clean up any damaged threads. You can also buy 5/16 inch threaded studs on eBay, but you may have to buy a dozen just to get the 4 that you need. These large plastic wing nuts can also be found on eBay, and they're the same thread as a 5/16 bolt. Attach the threaded stud and mounting assembly like you would a normal bolt, but remember to use lock washers on both sides. A more practical approach might have been to cut the heads off the metric bolts that came with the saddlebags, then contact Viking to purchase the metric wing nuts that matched the throwover strap. I chose not to go this route because I didn't know how long it would take to get the wing nuts, and I was in a bit of a time crunch to get this video finished. With the threaded bolts in place, you can see how quickly you can install or remove these bags considering they are hard mounted. This comes in handy when you have to do simple maintenance like cleaning the chain. Adding eyelets will really help the bags slide on and off the threaded bolts and preserve the integrity of the holes over time. They also help plug holes that turned out to be unnecessary or a mistake. You can order an eyelet kit on eBay for about $15. It comes with all the tools you will need and a dozen eyelets. I chose the 10mm kit because it was the size Viking used for the throw-over holes. The inside width of the bags are 5 1/4 inches. You will need to cut a block of wood to this dimension so you can wedge it into the bag to provide backing when you punch out the holes. If you used a 3/8 drill bit to drill out the original holes, the 10mm punch will remount the holes the exact size of the eyelet. Wedge a block of wood under the desired hole and punch it out until the edges are no longer ragged. Repeat this process with all of the holes that require eyelets. The anvil that comes with the punch kit is 3/4 inch long. Cut this amount off the block of wood. Insert the eyelet in the underside of the hole. Wedge the anvil under the eyelet with the block of wood under the anvil. Place one of the eyelet washers over the hole. Insert the eyelet tool into the eyelet and hammer it on. Now, among other things, if you need to plug a hole, you can use the rubber plugs that came with the Saddlebag kit. If you were thinking of adding Viking saddlebags to your motorcycle, I hope this demonstration helped. In my next video project, I will be adding audio turn indicators. Thanks for watching.